Ninh explains the rules of track cycling. The object of the game is to cycle faster than your opponents. Track cycling, sometimes referred to as Olympic track cycling, is contested indoors on a curved bank track that measures 250 meters long, otherwise known as a velodrome. In general, the rider who crosses the finish line first wins. Shortest video ever, right? Well, sadly not. Rather confusingly, track cycling has many different events, each with significantly different rules to each other. I'm not going to cover every single event in this video, but the most popular events are individual time trial. This is the simplest event to understand, as it's purely a race against the clock. The distance is 1 kilometer for men and 500 meters for women. You're out there on your own, and the fastest rider across the finish line from a standing start wins. A flying time trial allows you to build up speed before they start the clock, and only the last 200 meters is timed. Fastest over 200 meters is the winner. Individual pursuit. Very similar to the time trial, except that now you're racing against someone. Individual riders will start from opposite ends of the track. When the starting gun goes off, they have to race 4 kilometers for men and 3 kilometers for women. First person to cross the line wins. The fastest 4 winners will ride off against each other until there is only one winner. Team pursuit. 4 riders will ride for 4 kilometers against another team. Each team starts from opposite ends of the track. The team that catches the other team, or that records the fastest time over 4 kilometers, wins. In team pursuit, there's a catch. At least 3 riders must finish the race, and the time is taken from the third rider's front wheel crossing the line. Individual sprint. The ultimate game of cat and mouse. The distance is just 750 meters or 3 laps of an Olympic track. Riders start next to each other, and both will try and use tactics to either make the opponent go first or to push the rider in an unfavourable position before making a run for the line themselves. The time you take to do these 3 laps does not matter. All that matters is that you must cross the finish line first before your opponent. The rider who wins 2 out of 3 races wins the individual sprint. Team sprint. Teams start at opposite ends of the track and consist of 3 riders over 3 laps for men and 2 riders over 2 laps for women. The first rider sets the pace and, after 1 lap, must peel away from the pack. The next rider, for men, also has a lap before they must also ride away. The last rider then has to sprint the final lap to the finish line on their own. The teams with the 2 best times ride off to be crowned the winner, and there are also contests for 3rd and 4th place. Keirin. Possibly the strangest event in track cycling is the keirin. Developed in Japan as a means of gambling, it consists of up to 7 riders over 8 laps of the track, except that 5.5 of those laps consists of following a motorised bicycle known as a derny. Riders must stay behind the derny as it increases in speed, and they will try and jostle each other out of position to get an advantage over their rivals. Once the derny pulls away from the track, it's a free-for-all sprint for the last 2.5 laps. First person to cross the finish line after all 8 laps wins. Elimination race. 24 riders start at the same time over a race of 50 laps. The rules are simple. Don't be last, because in every 2 laps, whoever is the last to cross the start line is eliminated. This carries on until there is only one winner. Scratch race. A mid-distance event that is 15 kilometers for men and 10 kilometers for women. The rules are simple. Be the first to cross the finish line. Endurance riders will try and outpace sprinters, and sprinters will try and hide in the main pack to conserve energy before making a final run. How you play it is up to you, so long as you cross the line first. Points race. Think of this as NASCAR racing on bicycles. A long distance event that is 40 kilometers for men and 25 kilometers for women. A sprint is held every 10 laps, signalled by a bell. Points are awarded to the first 4 across the line for each sprint, and points are double during the last sprint of the race. riders can also earn 20 points for lapping the field. The most points at the end of the race wins. Madison. Put simply, it's a points race, but with teams of 2 riders. Only one rider can race at a time, so riders must touch or tag their partner for them to be eligible to race. You'll see them slinging each other around to give each other a boost. The race is 50 km for men and 30 km for women. The team with the most points at the end of the race wins. Omnium. This is the decathlon of cycling events and is comprised of the following 4 or 6 races. You'll get points depending on the position you finish at each race, and the rider with the most amount of points after 4 or 6 events is the winner of the Omnium. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes, there's a few other things that you'll need to know before riding or watching track cycling. For example, lines. There are lines that go around the perimeter of the track, and they all mean different things. The Côte d'Azur is the start of the velodrome. The black line, also known as the datum line, denotes the shortest length of the track, 250 meters for an Olympic facility. Riders will stay glued to the black line as this is the shortest and fastest way around the track. The red line is also known as the sprinter's line. If a rider is in a channel between the black and red lines, the opponent must come around the red line and can only cross the path once the overtake is complete. You cannot use this line to overtake other riders. The blue line, also known as the stayers line, is for use in Madison races. The resting riders will circulate above the blue line until they are tagged back into action. False start. If you start before the starting gun goes off, the gun will fire a second time to indicate that you have started early. This is known as a false start. If you commit 2 false starts, you are disqualified from the contest. Slipstreaming and drafting. During team events, you'll see riders follow each other very closely. And sometimes you'll see riders intentionally move from the front to the back. But why? Due to aerodynamics, cycling in a pack expends less energy than cycling alone, especially if you're at the back. Teams will usually share the workload and swap places during a race to conserve energy and be in the best possible position to sprint for the line. That's a lot to take in, but once you've watched cycling for a while, the rules will become clear. If you found this video at all helpful, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated. Follow me on Twitter also and share this video on Reddit, but in the meantime, enjoy Olympic track cycling.